problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
And our next game we are going to talk about, true to my heart. We're now getting to the Saturday games. This is true to my heart, as I am a Florida State fan to the fullest. This one right here it's not back how it was back in when I was growing up, to where it was such a very competitive game, and the rankings and all the star-studded athletes we had on the field. But it's still a good game, and we're talking about Florida State taking on the Miami Hurricanes, and this game is going Saturday. It's been a minute, but it is. This is actually a game that I'm willing to watch once again. And if I can get to these stats, my notes real quick, I can kind of break this on. But how did you feel about this game growing up, bro? Like, did it have any
Growing
impact? Was you even watching? Say what?
growing up or like right now? You said growing up.
Growing, it don't mean nothing right now.
Right.
But
I mean,
growing up,
in those Clinton Portis and Andre Johnson and even I can even remember some Charlie Ward days.
right?
Um, even up to the Dalvin Cook them years, they had a couple good couple back and forth games. All the wide right, was it wide right or wide left? Is it wide right? It's always wide
Right.
right.
It went both ways. In the '90s, in the '90s, it was like wide left 1 and 2, and then in the 2000, when it was that deep Miami team that went to the national championship and lost to Ohio State, it went wide right. If I'm wrong, it was the other way around. But as a Florida State fan, I don't try to remember that shit. But yeah, wide, whatever. We had to boast of both worlds.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this is my stuff, man, because half of my family, my family's from Florida. Half of us are Florida State,
Right.
which is me and like two of my sisters. Everybody else is Miami. So, like me and Jamal, I'm Miami. I'm Florida State. Jamal and my dad, they Miami. So that's how this shit used to go down in our house. But anywho, man, let's get to this game. I'm just kind of excited, even talking about it. Florida State Seminoles, 5-3 on the year, 5-3 against the spread, taking on the Miami Hurricanes, who are 4-4. And I went to that campus last year. It was nice. 4-4 on the year, 1-7 against the spread. It looked like a goddamn resort. The line opened up at -7.5 in favor of Florida State. That line has not moved at all. The total opened up at 52.5, and right now that line is at 53 as a consensus on the board. Let's get some of these actual factuals for my Seminoles. They're 8-3 against the spread in the last 11 games. Their unders hit 8 out of the last 12 games. They are 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games against the Hurricanes. 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games on the road. 6-2 against the spread in the last 8 games when playing on the road against the U. The overs also hit 4 out of the last 6 games against an ACC conference opponent. 5-1 straight up though against an opponent in the last 6 games against an opponent from the Coastal Division. Actual factors real quick for the Hurricanes. They are 0-7 against the spread in the last 7 games. The unders hit 5 out of the last 7 games. They are 2-4 straight up in the last 6 games. The total has gone under 9 out of the last 11 games against Florida State. Oh, excuse me. They are 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games whenever they play at the crib. And as I explained before, they're 2-6 against the spread in the last 8 games at the crib against the Seminoles. But they are 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games were played in the month of September, and 7-1 straight up in the last 8 games when they're playing in week 10 after they figured some things out about their team. Injury reports right now for Florida State. Winston Wright, wide receiver, he is questionable with a leg injury. Darian Williamson, wide receiver for the Seminoles, he's out as well. Oh, well, not out, excuse me. He's questionable, and we already know they're dealing with a lot of injuries at the running back position, which they hung heavily on in the beginning of the year. For the U, wide receiver Michael Reddings III, he is questionable for this game. Tyler Van Dyke is questionable as well, as they had Garcia finished out that overtime victory last week. The tight end, Aurora, he is questionable as well. Last time we seen Florida State this past weekend, they were 4-40. They won 40-16 against Georgia Tech without their head coach. and we saw Miami win in overtime against the UVA. This game actually went into the fourth overtime. I did bet on it, third or fourth overtime, but I did catch Miami on the money line early. So with that being said, the Seminoles taking on the U. Marley, do you ever play for this
No play on this game. Not interested.
game?
Not interested. Especially after I saw Miami in overtime. Who the fuck was they in overtime with? Who you just said?
Virginia.
Yeah.
With the backup quarterback.
Double overtime, right? Or was it just one?
Triple overtime.
Triple overtime, excuse me. Yeah. No parts.
It went to triple. Yeah, it went.
I think Florida State's
It might have went 4. It went 4.
I think Florida State's the better team, but 7.5 rivalry game, in-state rivalry game. Most of these kids know each other. Like you're probably gonna get Miami's best game. This is their Super Bowl at the end of the day. So I'm staying away. Too many points for me, and I think Florida State is the way better team. But I don't know. Florida State be tripping sometimes too.
It ain't that Florida State be tripping. Florida State fucking coach be tripping. He be tripping, man. But I do like the Seminoles. We do got a track. I do like the Seminoles do have a track record of getting out early. They are definitely. Am I frozen?
Nope.
Okay. You look frozen because you're so still. You just sit there watching the shit. Anywho, because I'm looking at you. I do like Florida State in the first half of this game. I like them to get in and get out early. They do play a lot better in the first half, and then that's when things get very terrible to watch in the second half. So this is definitely the game that I'm going to get in and then get right the fuck back out real quick on that. So with that being said, my official play for this is Florida State with the points in the first half. Hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I am the coach. This is Marley Bets. We are Brothas N Bets, and we are back at the taking a hiatus for a little second. Now here we go. Let's get to the next game.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.